Hi, this is Karen Flaherty from Living by Human Design. In this video, we'll be talking about the root center, which is one of the centers on your chart. It's the one at the very bottom, which is the brown square. And the root center is generally associated with the adrenaline system and our stress hormones. And it's a pressure center, so it applies the pressure to act. Now, if you have the center colored in on your chart, then it's defined, and this is about 2/3 of the population. So the root center provides a sense of being rooted and grounded, and that's why most people with the defined root center actually operate better under pressure, and you've probably seen this many times. Having the root center defined actually makes you immune to other people's adrenaline pressure. For you, things get done when they get done. You can't be pressured into getting things done. And so your defined root center always has a fixed way of dealing with stress. Now, the root center creates pressures, and depending on which gates or little lines you've got associated with the root center will tell you which kinds of pressures you have. These are things like the pressure to correct things, or the pressure to find your purpose, or to be ambitious, or to provoke people. There are all kinds of pressures there, and they're all related to the gates that are colored in coming off your root. Now, the interesting thing about the root center is that it is a motor, and so it operates in pulses, and the pulses go on and off. It's a natural cycle. There's nothing wrong with it. When it's on, you can get a lot done, and you can actually run circles around other people. But when the root pulse is off, getting things done will require a lot more effort, and it might feel like you're pushing a boulder uphill. So when this is a natural cycle, there's nothing wrong with it. And so whenever your defined root center pulse is off, you want to give yourself permission to rest. Because if you don't obey the off pulse and keep pushing those boulders uphill, you'll wear yourself out. And this is the kind of thing that can lead to adrenal fatigue or other issues having to do with the hormones. So the open root in a healthy state is where you have a consistent internal way of processing pressure, that you don't intentionally put others under pressure, that you don't allow yourself to be pressured into initiating new things, that you can notice when someone with an open root center is allowing unhealthy pressure to drive them, that you don't expect others to handle the load like you do, and that you have a healthy way to relieve your pressure, whether it's exercise or Tai Chi or yoga or something else. So if your root center is white on the chart, then it's open. And this is about 1/3 of the population that have an open root center. So your natural state when you're alone is to be relaxed and unbothered, kind of going through life at your own pace. But just remember that an open center takes in energy from the environment and amplifies it. So when you're around other people with the defined root, your open root center is going to take in the stress from the environment, from those other people, and then amplify it. And it doesn't feel good. So you might notice that when you're by yourself, you manage to get things done in a relaxed, almost laid-back style. But as soon as you're in the energy of someone with a defined root center, you're going to feel pressure. It's literally going to feel like pressure in the body. It's the pressure to get things done. And so this is going to cause you to rush, to become less efficient, to perhaps skip steps, and maybe even make mistakes. And so when you feel that pressure, what you can do is, now that you have this awareness, you can ask yourself the question, is there something I need to do in this moment to relieve this pressure? Many times you'll find that the answer is no. There's nothing you really need to do. The boss comes over to your desk, he asks you how you're doing, and all of a sudden you're rushing to find the report that you're supposed to finish, or the graphics he was looking for, or whatever it is. And so just know that if there is something to do in that moment, that you'll do it, and you can ask yourself, is there something to do or not? If there's nothing to do, then there's nothing to do. If there's something to do, then take that action. Just know that it will not relieve the pressure until that person walks away. And that's the irony of the open root center. When that person leaves, when that child leaves, when that parent leaves, you'll feel a lot better, because you're always taking in the pressure from those defined roots. And 2/3 of the population have defined roots, so there are quite a few people out there who will feel like pressure to you. So you just want to take that in stride and learn to live with that feeling of pressure without reacting to it. Also, the open root center can be vulnerable to panic attacks or stage fright. Again, because of all those people with the open root who might be in the audience, or that you're feeling even behind stage or on stage, you might feel panicked sometimes. You will get used to it, but just know that the panic attacks might come when you're first auditioning or first starting to speak in front of crowds. Now, when the open root is feeling stressed and panicked, they might get a lot done, but the quality of what gets done might not be all that great. And because you get a lot done, another irony is that you might be given even more to do, which compounds your pressure to get it all done, right? Talk about a vicious cycle. Now, because of all this pressure, you have a hard time relaxing or playing if your work isn't finished. And so it's important for you to realize that that to-do list is never ending. You're never going to be done. And so try not to get caught up in the vicious cycle of what we call the not self behavior of the open root center, which would be trying to fix things, trying to make things better, trying to get as much done as you can. If you're trying to do that, you're not going to be relaxed. You're not going to be able to relax, and it'll be actually quite difficult for you ever to relax, because you have a huge to-do list, I'm sure, and it feels like it's never ending. So there's seldom a time when you don't actually feel pressured to do all those things on your list, and therefore you don't feel free. And not feeling any kind of freedom is pretty oppressive. You'll probably agree to that. So the best thing, or the one thing I found that helps my clients, is to put the things that would help you to relieve that pressure on your calendar. So whether it's exercise or getting a massage or taking a walk or taking a break at lunchtime, anything like that that will help you to relieve that pressure is something that you should put on your calendar, so that you take it as seriously as all the other things that you have to do in your life. So the open root center in a healthy state is where you recognize pressure for what it is and only make your decisions from a place of stillness and peace, where you don't allow pressure to influence your decisions, where you recognize the difference between healthy and unhealthy pressure and are not addicted to pressure. Some people, by the way, with the open root can be addicted to things, all kinds of sports with the wind in your hair, or coffee or chocolate, or anything that's an adrenaline rush. Also, you'll know when pressure is correct for you and when it's not, and you'll pause to regain your composure whenever you feel it slipping away. Thanks so much for listening. See you in the next video.